It's in the game.
Give me a break, need another life. Oh, need another life. Give me a break, need another life.
Well, I do hate to put some added pressure on Arsenal today in the midst of a title fight, but today's match between Arsenal and Brentford is the Mrs.'s first Emirates attendance since October 2024. Come on, boys, you haven't let us down so far. Get that win. We are here, and I say we because not only am I here to do the commentating job for this afternoon here at the Emirates Stadium for Arsenal versus Brentford, but the missus is also here as a spectator. So I've got to obviously go and do my pickup duties at the end of this match. But first things first, we have a game here today, and Arsenal and Brentford is the occasion. Bit of a lesser North London, not North London derby, but another London derby, because I actually learned that Brentford is a London club recently. So you learn something new every day, I guess. It's something that I didn't actually know up until this point. So, Arsenal-Brentford last time out was a rather convincing win for Arsenal. I think it was 5-0. But of course, they faced Brentford recently, again in the FA Cup as well, knocking them out of that after a pretty good run by Brentford in the cup competition. But against the mighty juggernaut as Arsenal, you very much got very little chance. But in the league, anything can happen. And Arsenal do have that title fight really tended to focus on when it comes to league meetings. We'll go through the team lineups right now then. So I think David Raya, pretty much a standard, is in goal at the moment. Tomiyasu with Calvori and Timber and Thierry in the back four today. Odegaard's with Declan Rice and Charlie Patino. It's Reece Nelson and Victor Gyökeres either side of Kai Havertz, as Isaac is still recovering from the Atletico Madrid match in the Champions League. Here we are for Brentford. Mark Flecken is in goal today, and it's probably as you would expect. Damsgaard is actually a man in the midfield. Ivan Toney and Yone Weezer are going to be the two men to watch out for today. Such high form at the moment, and certainly two men you would want to give yourself a chance against this Arsenal side. And Brentford's two best players by some margin, even though there is some talk of Ivan Toney possibly going to a Saudi Arabian club at the end of the season. I can't really understand why, because Brentford have done so well. I think they're in the fight for the Europa League spots at the moment. So why anyone would want to move in this team at this very moment, I don't actually know. Brentford have had a stunning season up to now. But it is rumours. Been denied by Tony's camp. But as you know, you really can't. Word of mouth is probably the best source of information, but you can never take anything at face value. The world of football moves incredibly fast. One thing that gets said can turn into the complete opposite, maybe just a week later sometimes. It is a pretty crazy life as a footballer, and even commentating on it or being a linesman. The world of football is an ever-revolving planet, even though it's not really a planet, but we do play on the planet. I don't know what I'm talking about today, but anyway, let's get to the game. Arsenal still the league leaders then, and starting to really consolidate that position. And a favourable matchup for them against Brentford today. But of course, as we said, Brentford just definitely pinning their hopes on Yonan Weezer and Ivan Toney to get them some goals today. And against Arsenal, you need it. They were probably hoping to come up against Daniel Jennings, but Mikel Arteta certainly, probably, predictably, is going to be playing David Raya. Is that a penalty for Tomiyasu? No, we got the ball. And Flecken gathered it up. The Arsenal fans shouting for a penalty. I'm sure my missus was among them. Well, I say my missus, it's unofficial, but that's pretty much what I call her at this point. But she was probably shouting at the top of the lungs for it, along with the others, but no dice. The referee didn't give it. And we've got a game score coming in. We've got Will that has scored for Southampton against Aston Villa. Aston Villa have been rather inconsistent this year, to be fair. Not really sure what's going on with them. They were supposed to be preliminary top 4 challengers, but right now they're even hovering around the top 10. It's been a bit of a disappointing year. Not one to really Aston Villa to pull the trigger on Unai Emery, so to speak. It's not told like that. And Emery definitely deserves his spot amongst the 20 of the top managers in the world of football. Well, 20 of. They're probably below the likes of, say, Carlo Ancelotti and Hans Flick and the like, who manage big juggernauts of the world, such as Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid. I think Hansi Flick may be one of the German teams, but I'm not entirely sure. He has a name I've heard before. Tomiyasu finds Martin Odegaard, who finds Nelson. A makeshift squad for Arteta today. Obviously coming from that battle against Atletico Madrid. And obviously the second leg to think about. Here's Declan Rice. And here is Reece Nelson, who turns and cuts in. Oh. Well, Reece Nelson certainly found a new lease of life at Arsenal this year. He's probably one of those to be among the loanees and maybe even the outgoings for Arsenal, but Arteta's definitely found him a spot in the side. Much more Saka's backup, of course. But it's never a bad place to be. It's got then challenged there by Declan Rice, but they get the ball anyway, Arsenal. Here's Tomiyasu. Declan Rice. Oh, he tried to find Odegaard there, but found Oenia for Brentford instead. Here's Declan Rice and now trying to find Havertz. Havertz gets pushed, and I think Havertz felt that. And Havertz has already been on the injury bed so far this year. He was out for an extended period of time. Came back around the time of Chelsea's match against Arsenal in the FA Cup and scored the winner. And he was pushed, and he's kind of feeling it a bit. But Nelson's going to try and pick him out. Fortunately, no dice there. No Lenny Euro today. Of course, he was cup tied, so he couldn't play against Atletico Madrid. And just to confirm, that second leg is going to be here on that night against them. Finally poised. Oh, it's a bad pass by Tierney. He found Damsgaard instead. Damsgaard is immediately swarmed by Odegaard and Patino, but neither of them could get the ball off him. Ivan Toney locked out. And David Raya, of course, coming up against his former club, which is the main story of the day. I think it's fair to say that he was probably one of the first signings by Mikel Arteta, and it worked out a treat for him. Now he's a Premier League leader, but he has yet to win it, of course. It's not over until it is mathematically. And right now, mathematically, Arsenal would win it with 3 games to spare. There's still a lot of playing time between now and then. Still 8 games to go. I think that's including this one. He's poked away by Calvori. Collins. And Kai Havertz is still struggling a little. And that'll be a worry for Arteta. Tomiyasu to Nelson. A good save by Flecken. . It's Tony. Here's De Silva. He's got De Silva again. He's out-turned Pantano, but not Odegaard. Tino. Tini to Odegaard. Odegaard will try and shoot. And Havertz seems to be running a bit better now. He seems to have ran off his knock there. That's fortunate. And is that a free kick to Arsenal? No, it's not, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately for them, that is. Here's Anderson, the Brentford captain. So Brentford, as we said, fighting for the Europa League spot. The last of them, in fact. I think they're in 8th place at the moment. Arsenal, of course, as we said, looking to consolidate their lead at the top. And here is Patino. And Flecky makes another save. Seems inspired this afternoon. And Mikel Arteta will not want another inspired keeper this season, because Unai Simon gave him a bow and a half in that FA Cup tie. Give it to Declan Rice. And Odegaard, and Flecken saves again. It's going to be one of those afternoons, one of those rare occasions where Arsenal just can't seem to score a goal. Well, Manchester City could definitely do with a favour from other teams for now. And it's not often we've said that in the previous years. Right for the corner. Now for a throw. Dennis Bergkamp. Premier League winner and absolute showman in his own right, and a wonderful at doing it. You know, Henry are definitely missed here. Much different time. A lot of Arsenal fans would say, take me back, and who can blame them? But right now, let's be fair, they could have their own Premier League title winning side on their hands right now. Well, Newcastle and Manchester United, it's 1-1 and Miguel has scored. I'm assuming that is Miguel that has scored for Newcastle United. So Manchester United actually had the lead for a change, but very much has been Manchester United's year. They've gone and squandered it again. And now it's 1-1 in St James's Park. And who knows, maybe we will land at St James's Park for our coverage next season. That would certainly be a place I'd love to be for a season. We'll have to see what our coverage gives us as it rapidly approaches the 25-6 season. But I certainly wouldn't say no to trips to St James's Park every other week. One of the best stadiums in the land, one of the best atmospheres in the Premier League, as Ivan Toney has a header straight towards David Raya. Didn't have to save it in theory, but you never know. And wow, crucial score from the Etihad then. Newcastle, Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 1. And that can have a bearing on things happening right now. Right now, that would give Arsenal a 10-point lead. Oh, well, David Rice with a magnificent save, but Weezer has put it in. And, oh, that changes everything. Oh, dear. And maybe that score has given Arsenal a commentator's curse here, but the strike from Tony was wonderfully saved by David Raya, but horrible luck, really. He tries to get back, but it's a good strike from Weezer. And Brentford have a surprise lead, but that overhead kick from Tony. And Raya well, he can only do so much. Maybe his defenders probably could have done a bit better, maybe, but take nothing away. That's a splendid save from a splendid strike, but Yone Weezer has given Brentford a surprise lead, and with things happening right now, that means the top of the table will remain unchanged because City are losing, as we just saw. So, two swings in very let's say unexpected directions. City losing and Arsenal losing. Well, it's Premier League always. The Premier League always cooks up these amazing stories right to the very end, and we've got two right now. Arsenal, for the first time this season, in a spot of bother. But here's Kai Havertz. Not for the first time this season. They had a bit of a problem against Chelsea in the FA Cup until Kai Havertz popped up, didn't they? Right here today, this is the shock. Brentford, who are a very decent side in their own right, to be fair. Certainly maybe not on Arsenal's level as in terms of the players they have. But right now, they have the luck of the draw. And a 1-0 lead. And we're approaching half-time. Well, Nelson and Henry, Tomiyasu, but Arsenal keep the ball. And that is the half-time whistle. And Brentford, against the odds and probably the run of play to a degree, have the lead here. A splendid strike from Tony that was splendidly saved by David Raya, who there, but Oyone Weezer to give Brentford a surprise lead here this afternoon. I wonder how the missus is feeling about that one. Well, welcome back to the Emirates. Shock of all shocks this season. Arsenal are behind and not struggling, but certainly below their very high standards so far this season. A goal down to Brentford, and not to say they don't look like scoring, they always do, but Flecken, to be fair to him, has been rather inspired this afternoon and kept them out in a very rare event. But we all know Arsenal can turn up a gear at any moment. And here's Mwembu, who's another really decent player that Brentford have on their books. So there's certainly no slouches, Brentford, this season. A very good squad, a very good season. So definitely not a team that anyone would take lightly. Oh dear. Score coming in from the Etihad. Erling Haaland has scored for City. And that just tells a story all its own, doesn't it? So now Arsenal need to get a move on, because that will be a point lost against City in the title race. So now they need to score. And the score, let's say, is filtered through. I'm sure the missus is keeping an eye on it. Brentford and we'll take on Brighton next. I believe that's a Premier League tie. Brentford and Brighton, two very good teams this year. Very good teams. Safe from relegation. Brentford more so, to be fair. Fighting for the Europa League spots. And this would be crucial, really. If the score was to stay like this would really help Brentford's hopes for Europa League position next season. Little Brentford in the Europa League. What a story. I would actually get behind that. And hopefully we'll get some more updates from the Etihad Stadium, because I think the pendulum, Premier League pendulum, is about to swing in a very unprecedented direction, as Arsenal have really not looked like scoring, mostly because Flecken has been inspired, but also Brentford keeping Raya busy. Oh, that's a penalty, surely. Given against Tierney, it's a corner. I thought it would have been a penalty. I think Arsenal got away with one there. Scott fans a short to Mwembu. Mwembu puts it in, and it's going to be over and out for a goal kick. Well, those Brentford fans are in absolute dreamland. with what's happening right now. We're not with that shot specifically. And some talk of there was some talk going into this weekend of maybe the Emirates being expanded at some point. Certainly not an old stadium by any means. They have been here a while though, Arsenal, to be fair. Like we said, football is a world that goes really quickly, and sometimes these kind of things can really surprise you. Well, expansion certainly would be a viable kind of option. The Emirates is not that old, as we said. And here's Tony, and it's a good save by Raya. But I think you have to think of it like this. Obviously, Spurs, top-of-the-line stadium now. And obviously, Arsenal want to obviously keep pace and match whatever they do. But that's why moving from Highbury was so necessary, even though it had been a holy grail for Arsenal for so many years. 1913, I think it was, and that first opened, I believe. I could be wrong. Here is Odegaard, but the move was necessary, and that's what Manchester United fans have been pretty much saying again when it comes to United's new stadium that has been looked at over the last month. As much as Old Trafford is a sacred area, it's needed a refurbishment for years, but the Glazers have just left it untouched for reasons we do not really know or understand. It's come to the point where United really probably have to move to a degree. But to be fair, from what I've seen, it's only going to be maybe just down the road. So really, Havertz and saved by Flecken again. It's even an inspired game. But to be fair, I think it will take some getting used to. But really, we're just moving next door. That's really, I think, how any United fan would have wanted it. Bit of a mix-up there between Flecken and his defender. What a guard. Nelson, Arsenal starting to really grow into this grade now. Great turn by Kai Havertz. Oh. And we had a score come in, but unfortunately it didn't stay on the screen long enough for me to read it. As Ajar comes on for Olivier Silva. Well, we're going to witness a completely rare event here today. Arsenal not scoring and losing. Very rare events happening right now. And Anderson picked that pass out. He's on the guard. And I think Nelson was trying to make a run. Odegaard has picked him out though. And Oyeka has cleared it up for a corner. As Collins comes on for Pinnock, or off for Pinnock. The corner, unfortunately, has come to nothing. And Arsenal struggling to score. This is certainly a rarity. And Anderson, could have been a foul on Odegaard, to be fair. Well, if Arsenal lose here today in a very rare event, it's going to be a very miserable ride home. Was that Everton? 2-0 up there. It's wonderful to know. And Gyökeres, He should have scored. And that's a vital chance in a game like this. Flecken, another great save from Martin Odegaard, but Gyökeres probably should have scored. It's going to be a very sombre ride home at this point. But Brentford, credit to them, have played their hearts out today. Arsenal starting to grow into this game, however. Odegaard to Nelson. Don't ever count Arsenal out of anything until the final whistle is gone, but Havertz is offside. And Oyeka is coming off for Hickey. Weezer the goal scorer. Off an absolute stunning save from a stunning overhead kick by Ivan Toney, who is here now as another good save by Raya. And Arsenal bringing on the reinforcements as Isak comes on for Kai Havertz. I think Saka's coming on as well. So in a very rare event, two people that would normally go off are now coming on. And here's Sterling, who also came on as well for Gyökeres. Odegaard, good tackle. Well, one eye on Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid perhaps? Could be. But here's Isak. Saka. He's burst into the box and that's a foul, surely. And that is absolutely at least worth a look for a foul. Nothing given there. God. Isak and Saka aiming for in the box, and he picked out neither. Here is the Silva. Brentford on for a very famous win here this afternoon, which could really change the complexion of this title race. We haven't heard anything else from the Etihad Stadium on what City are doing, but right now, all Arsenal fans are wanting that information. Because right now, we're on the verge of seeing something very unprecedented happen. Arsenal not score and lose. What a shock that would be. It's not panic stations yet, but it certainly would be swinging the pendulum towards Manchester City, especially if they are winning at the Etihad now. They were behind when we first checked in, and that was soon after Weezer scored. But 5 minutes, and Arsenal don't look like scoring here, folks. Isak. By Bwemba, and then tailed by Pinnock again, and the foul is given. And Odegaard is waiting, and he couldn't get anywhere to take it quickly, so this will be interesting. He's going for the shot, and it's straight at Flecken. That was probably not the best decision he's ever made, to be fair. João Enrique. Oh dear. Arsenal on the verge of losing right now. 89th minute. And it's not looking good. Saka with a burst into the box, trying to pick out Isak. Here's the ball. Oh, and Flecken has done great this afternoon, to be fair to him. Well, 4 minutes, about it on time. This is truly an unprecedented moment here. But this Premier League season probably has regained some of its intrigue, because right now Arsenal have had by far their worst performance of the season. Oh, hang on a minute. Saka and Flecken with a great save. And Flecken has been an absolute hero for Brentford this afternoon. Sterling. Isak. And now Saka again. Picks out Isak. Oh, and Flecken with another great save. Tremendous save by Flecken. Man of the match performance. And Arsenal, that might have been their last chance. Can they muster up one more? The answer is no. As we approach the 94th minute, And it really does look over. Declan Rice. It's over. The pendulum has swung back towards Manchester City. If they've won at the Etihad. We haven't had any reports since it went 1-1 and Erling Haaland scored. But I think certainly me and the missus are in for a very kind of somber mood home. Because Arsenal, two unprecedented things have happened. Not only did they not score for once in a long time, last time was Bournemouth, they lost the game. And now this Premier League title race could be back on after Arsenal look to have all but sealed it. Well, back to the drawing board then. Arsenal 0, Brentford 1. So, all the other scores will start at the Etihad immediately because, as expected, City turned it around. 3-1 winners in the end. Brighton beat Leicester by 1-0. Everton, crucial relegation battle against Nottingham Forest. They won by 2-1. Newcastle and Manchester United ended 1-1 in the end. Bournemouth lost to Fulham by 2-1. Villa beat Southampton. And the relegation pendulum is certainly swinging towards Everton being safe now. Liverpool won at West Ham by 2-1. Wolves 0, Tottenham Hotspur 3, just to dampen Arsenal's fans' mood today. Chelsea 5, Ipswich Town 1. So, Arsenal now just 3 points now, clear of Manchester City, and what's worse, City now have a game in hand as well. Newcastle United third and 11 points behind. That's because they were held to a draw against Manchester United. Chelsea 4, followed by Liverpool. Spurs, Brentford, and Bournemouth completing 6 through 8. Brentford looking to really consolidate the Europa League spot now. West Ham 9th, followed by Brighton, Aston Villa 11th, Fulham 12th. Manchester United were briefly up for a bit, but now back down to 13th. And don't really look like getting any more of it out of the season, to be honest. Palace 14th, Everton 15th. Now, relegation here, 4 points between Everton and Leicester City. A further point between them and Nottingham Forest, and then there's 2 points between them and Southampton. So Everton might be safe. Ipswich and Wolves looking ever increasing likely, especially Wolves, to go down first.